Hey guys, I don't expect you to watch my videos and read my blog every day and have it just be like, hey, I'm having a good day today, or hey, things are shitty today, or whatever. I do have a lot of things that I want to try out. I'd like to have some people get involved and submit their own videos. That would be great, or collaborate. I have a couple of people that are setting that kind of stuff up now, doing their own videos, and so I'm going to get that going. But for now, I decided that it would be a good idea to start telling some stories, some stories about me growing up in Gloucester, Mass, self-medicating for 15 years before I found out that I was bipolar, and to see what you guys think, if they're too graphic, or if you think that I'm glorifying, or not really glorifying, if you think that I'm making drugs sound like something that you should do. Trust me, I am not, or I'm not intentionally. I definitely don't feel that way. I've been clean for 6 years, over 6 years, and I have no intention of glorifying narcotics or alcohol to anyone. I just want to, tell my story of how I survived for 15 years being bipolar and being unmedicated and undiagnosed and untreated. And it wasn't easy, and it was pretty ugly actually. So I moved to Gloucester when I was 15, and I immediately met all the wrong people. I was the manager at a video store, and everyone that worked there was a friend of mine that I got high with or that I got drunk with. And we would, get high and drunk at work, and I was in charge. So nothing ever really came of it. It actually started, it got pretty out of hand, and I ended up quitting that job. But I still hung out with the same people, and I just met more and more of the wrong crowd. And eventually I met Frank when I was about 17, who ended up, he turned out to be the love of my life. We were together off and on for a few years. We started out as friends. He was actually going out with one of my girlfriends, and they had a baby together, and it didn't work out between them. And he and I ended up getting together a few years later, and we were together for a really long time, like I said, off and on. And I was so madly in love with Frank. To this day, we've been separated for years, and still, I still think about him. I still wonder how he's doing. I know he's not doing well, so that's kind of bothersome, but there's not really anything I can do about it. I tried a lot. I tried a lot to help Frank, especially once I was clean, but there was just no helping him, because you can't help someone that doesn't want to be helped. And I hope that a lot of you don't have to find that out the hard way like I did, waste so many years trying to help someone who is actively trying to kill himself, getting as high as he can every single day, until, one day he's just gonna not wake up. There's definitely no helping someone like that. They have to help themselves. So I met Frank when I was 17. We were doing all the party drugs. I was a teenager in the late 90s, so that was, when ecstasy was, I guess people are using it now or whatever. I don't really know, but back then it was all the rage. Everybody was doing it. Every group pretty much was doing it, and Frank was selling it. So there was plenty of it around me. And I went from that to cocaine, partying and doing cocaine, and eventually I ended up being a heroin addict for the better part of 10 years. At first it was recreational, and I didn't have that much of a problem, but of course it became more and more of a problem, especially being with Frank, who was selling it and doing it. And I ended up just becoming consumed by it. It completely took over my entire life. I, believe it or not, was actually able to hold a job back then, but they were always, retail jobs, or, jobs where I worked part-time, or I worked 40 hours a week, and, I wasn't running myself ragged like I do at the dealerships now. And I was able to keep a job, and I was able to keep a roof over our head, because I guess I was a pretty well-functioning heroin addict, I guess, I don't know. But it eventually just took over our lives. And one night, Frank came home. I had just gotten home from work, and he was all excited because he had Molly. And this is when, I guess, Molly first was a thing up here. And so, he was all excited about it, and he told me to parachute.